served as the director of Cyberspace Abacus Private Limited. He was the MD of Support Shop Private Limited. He is currently the Director of Marketing and Business Development, Director of Marketing in Touchline Technologies Private Limited. We are happy to have you here, sir. I request Mr. Vinod, sir, to take over.
Awesome. Thank you for having me for today. So I'm sure you guys are have big dreams in terms of how you want to take your future, and your teachers are helping you, show the world out as to how things are going to be when you come out. So there are a lot of things in marketing because it's a very wide area. So when you look at marketing, it depends on what you're going to do based on products, based on services, based on solutions. Now, in terms of education, what you would learn is, a textbook style of understanding, which is basically the ABCs of marketing. So I don't want to go there and rekindle those thoughts today. From the experience that I have, let me try and see if I can build some kind of a thought process with you that can help you, go a long way in the real world. So I'll start by, putting up a set of slides on which, I would like to talk. So. Is there a control that you need to allow me to present the PowerPoint? No? Okay. Looks like there's a little bit of challenge, but we will anyhow go forward without. So, in terms of marketing, there is always something called an end goal that a marketing is supposed to do. Any marketing activity or initiative that happens, you're supposed to have an end goal to it, right? So, if you want to give out messages, you can just give me, you can keep chatting and sending me information that you would know. I would keep going forward as and when. So if you have any questions, you don't have to wait in for a Q&A. You can just pop in your questions and I can see if I can answer it on the floor. One is any marketing or branding or activity. The end goal is to establish a particular brand. So it might be a product, it might be a service, it might be a solution, or it might be a brand. So establish that in your target audience's mind. That is the primary intention of marketing, right? That is one part of it. The second is for established brands, when you do marketing, the idea of doing the whole thing is to bring in a recall for the brand. That means they're already seeing while you're on the road, some logos, even without watching it, or some taglines, even without watching it, you can say this is the brand. Right? You don't have to wait and pause. That is activities which are already established brands where you're just trying to establish a recall of it. Now, the final objective when it comes to business and marketing is the amount of leads that you generate. So, a marketing department, if you look at it, one point of measure is the kind of quality leads that you generate from a marketing campaign that you do, right? Now, there are a lot of people doing a lot of activities. You see a lot of brand activities, a lot of ads that pop in while you're watching your digital spaces, maybe YouTube or Insta or Facebook or LinkedIn, whatever might be the channel that you're on. You'll see a lot of ads popping in. Now, how much of it do you look at, or how much of it does register with you? It depends on what. So primarily, it depends on your interests at that point of time. So there is nothing like a permanent thing. Sometimes, for example, if you're going to be looking for a bike that you're going to be buying, you're deciding on what bike. So from the time you think about buying it until the time you buy it, all the bike ads that come get registered in your mind. Because what? Because of what? Because you are on the lookout for it, right? And then you take interest, you pause, read up, you wait and see the ad, you look for what you like in that, you look for what you dislike in that, and that registers in your mind, and then it helps you make your decision in terms of what you're going to do, what you're going to buy, right? Now, among all this, as a marketer, right, how do we become an exceptional marketer, or what is the responsibility in terms of a marketer that a marketer has? It is basically when you work on any marketing campaign, there is something called ROI. ROI means return on investment. So when you go into the real world, any marketing plan that you build or any marketing strategy that you talk about, the first question that would come is, what is my ROI going to be? If it is for your internal, you're working in a company, you're proposing a plan, then the business team will come back to you, the finance team will come back to you asking for what is the ROI for this plan. So have you ever thought about ROI? So that is the single most important measure when it comes to any marketing campaign that happens. And a marketer or a quality of the marketer decides on optimizing the ROI or maximizing the return on investment. Like for example, if you want to put it in layman terms of ROI, now what do I get? I get any phone that you buy, right? You have different types of brands that offer phone. Everything does the same thing as long as you're looking at the primary functionality. Right? Why is Apple selling at X price? Why is Samsung selling at Y price? Why is Oppo, Vivo selling at XYZ price? So there is some kind of a return that a user is getting. It might be a brand value, it might be of image, it might be the flaunting that happens, or it might be some security features because of which you're buying a particular brand. There will be any number of reasoning which, when targeted properly, gets a return. So when you're doing a campaign for each different brand, your calculation or your strategy changes, and the ROI calculation based on that changes. So when you as a user put in money on an iPhone, what am I getting in return? The people looking up to me saying that, oh, you use Apple phone. So you have an image that you're trying to build out of it, saying that you're out of the crowd, for example. Right? So that is your ROI as a buyer that you're getting. So likewise, any company that is doing any kind of campaign set, as a marketer, the first question that would come to you is about ROI. Right? So we need to understand how they were bringing that. And the best marketer or a successful marketer, we would say, would be the person who understands how to build an ROI out of any marketing campaign that you do. So one of the keywords that you need to make note of is ROI, which during your academics you won't hear as much, but once you go into the real world, that's going to be one question that is always there on above your head. Right? So you can make a note of it. You can talk to your friends about ROI and understanding of ROI. Right? Now in ROI, what do you think is a good ROI? For example, you're spending 100 rupees on a marketing campaign, for example, right? Now, if it is a product, the product has a cost. Say, assume the product cost is X value, and you have a profit from the product, which is a Y value. Now, a baseline understanding of ROI would be if the profit is, if you're able to generate, yes, but your spend is 100 rupees, but if you're able to generate 500 rupees as profit from the marketing activity, which is 5 times the spend, right? So that is what is called a baseline of ROI. So any successful campaign or baseline successful, when we call, success is of different levels in marketing. It depends on the marketer again. So it's as a marketer, it is our responsibility as a marketer to ensure that we optimize the ROI. And if it is anything which is more than 5 times, it's beautiful. So, Shagun, you've got the presentation. Yeah, so now we can actually move into slide number 4, 3 or 4. Yeah, so this is what I was talking about. So what is a measure? The measure is basically 5 times return on the spent value in terms of bottom line measure. Bottom line measure is profit, what I'm talking about, right? From the business generated through the campaign. So this is some kind of a base measure. So when you're saying, okay, I'm going to be spending so much on a marketing campaign, you need to go present the campaign with the assurance that there is 5 times return from that. Now, how do you do that? Can you move to the next one? Yeah. So where do you run your campaigns, right? So you have marketing channels. Today we are talking about, whenever we talk about digital spaces, we talk about today. Because for example, there was something called Google. There was a profile page very similar to Orkut, I think it was called. And then today that is vanished now. Nobody's using Orkut. Now it's become Facebook. Now Facebook again is classified as an channel which is for oldies, right? So in Facebook, you would find people in the age group more active from the age group of 35 and above, right? Insta is something that is part of the millennial and a little bit above that, right? So channels keep changing. So we need to be we need to know that any marketing channel, it can be a one-to-one is also a marketing channel. You're having a conversation with a friend. You can pass on your marketing idea or what you want to market to a friend on a one-to-one. Word of mouth is the most traditional and most highest ROI giving activity in terms of marketing. So when for example, you want to buy a product, your friend is using the product, right? So you talk to them, they say, okay, it's really good. You don't have to look at it too much. I've used it. This is where all that, and then your decision is more faster than research-based decision where you have to go outside, look for ads, look for products, and all that. So word of mouth is the most highest ROI activity, right? Because it is in person. So you would see a lot of organizations globally, which are a platform for networking. So there are organizations like Rotary. If you look at Rotary as a service organization from the front, yes, but what happens behind is networking to ensure individual businesses or individual agendas happen. There are organizations like Lions, there are organizations like BNI, wherein these organizations, BNI is a very clear network organization. So people just talk to each other, they explain their businesses to each other. So that is a marketing channel in the traditional sense. Then you have your print media, then you have the television media, then comes the digital media. And digital media is a vast media, right? Where you advertise, who are the people there. So it's kind of a very vast area. Now to conquer or understand the digital space, to be a successful marketer, that what and when you're going to use a certain platform for a certain marketing campaign. So it brings a lot of questions. Where do I start? Which is the right one? What do I say there? What kind of communication works? Right? So there are multiple questions that comes out, and unless we understand a lot of other factors which bring an idea of decision, creating a concept and bringing it to an idea of execution, there are multiple steps to it, right? So these are basic traditional marketing channels that some of that you would be aware, some of them you look at it differently from now, right? You move on to the next. So like I said, simple point is exceptional marketeer, you start with making more than 5% ROI, right? So that is the standard baseline. So anything above baseline, you're starting to grow. And there is no upper limit to it if you become a smart marketeer, right? We can move to the next. So what is the readiness a marketer needs to have? Like I told you, what you do, where there are so many platforms available, people are all over the digital spaces. Now, how do I do a certain product, services, or solution marketing to a particular or a right set of people? That is a question that comes, right? So how do we bring that up? Now, for that, the most important phase is the exploring phase, or the understanding space as we do it. You need to do a lot of market research. So to give you pointers, we'll move to the next slide where I will show you what are the basic lines of thought process that can bring you to that level, right? So first thing is to understand a product, a solution, and service. Why do you have to understand it? So anybody creating anything, right? They're spending time, they're spending money, and they're creating something. It could be a product, it could be a service, it could be a product and service combination or a set of products put together to make it a solution. So there is somewhere a gap, or what you would say, an opportunity for a product or service or a solution which can become a business. That is why a product is launched. Who better to ask than the uh, product owner or the service provider or who has created it? So principal brand, what are they? So internal questions. So questioning. So generally people come and I want to do a marketing campaign. It is not just creating posts, putting it on different digital platforms and wait and see what comes. So there is no measure there. So here, what you need to know, if you have to put it in the right space to the right set of people at the right time, right? So first you need to know what a product or a solution or a service is about. Why have they built it? Or why is the product made? Or why is the service made available? Or why is the solution made available? So it kills a problem, it gives a solution set for that. So that understanding has to be kind of taken. So your exploring phase is very, very critical to what you do. Execution is a byfall of the exploring phase. If this space is managed very well, if you understood this very clearly in depth, then there is minimal chances of a bad or a failed or a below 5% ROI marketing campaign, right? So what is a market history? So you take, why did soft phones or your smartphones come when there were earlier days dial-up phones. Why did smartphones come? So there will be a history for every product, every solution, every service. So we need to understand the history of it. Now, who is it benefiting, and what are the kind of people it is benefiting? If it is B2B, which means if it is a business to business product, service, or solution, they understand which verticals. When I say verticals, verticals like ITES is a vertical, manufacturing is a vertical, hospitality is a vertical, which means hospitality means your hotels, restaurants, and all that become travel. All that becomes hospitality. Your healthcare, which means hospitals, pharma companies, all this become healthcare. So there are different verticals. Is the product, solution, or service designed for a particular vertical? You need to understand if it is a vertical. If it is horizontal, how do you say horizontal? Horizontal means departments which are prevalent in across organizations. Now, sales is a horizontal. So any product, service, or solution, in every organization there is a sales team. There is a support team. Support is a horizontal. Finance is a horizontal, right? So HR is a horizontal. People's department is a horizontal. So likewise, these are horizontal. So you need to understand what this is made of. Is it made for across companies on a horizontal level? For example, if there is an HRMS software, it can be sold to any vertical because there will be an HR department for a particular size of set. So this understanding has to be taken. How does it go? Now, the next thing to do, there will be always a first mover or there will be a market leader for most of the product solution or services category. Now we need to understand who's the market leader there, which is the brand, what is their positioning, what are the products that they have, how do we connect with them and understand them very clearly. And if it is not a new product, then you ask them, who's your current customer? Who are your set of current customers? So they give you a list of customers. Based on that, you find some kind of an information as to, is it horizontal, is it vertical, is there some commonality where you can decide on the target audience based on the commonality, right? So that is why you ask a question of who's your current customer, and then you look for competition, which means who are the other similar brands who are playing in the same space in terms of products or solutions or services. Then you compare as to how different is this product when compared to competition, when compared to the market leader, right? So you get, from everything that you look at it in this angle, you get pointers as to how you can build a very clear marketing plan, right? Once you have the differentiator, then that is what you amplify to the right set of people. You speak about it loud, you make it sound interesting in many different ways in across channels with a focused target audience approach, right? Now, the next thing that it does is, who does it benefit? So when I say we look at when digital platforms, the across globe is on digital, right? So where do you advertise? How do you advertise? How do you narrow it down to ensure that your ROI is optimized, right? So then we talk about demographics, which means today if you go into any digital media platform, you get, the moment you become an advertiser there, they give you filters or they give you options to reduce the audience set by age, by gender, by income group, by geography, by education, by qualification, by experience. So all this ways you can narrow down the audience base. This is very important. Once you have all the above information, and then you have this set of filters, and you know your target audience. So you design or set a campaign which becomes very targeted, right? So that will ensure, again, coming back to the same point, an exceptional marketer and the angle of ROI, which is the pure measure of a successful or a exceptional marketer, right? Now, what content do you generate? You have a marketing, you have a set of product, service, or solution. You have a set of audience which you have. You've got all the demographics in place. You've done all the research in terms of verticals, horizontals. You've done competition study. Everything is done, right? Now, how do you tell a story? So every brand, product, service, solution will have use cases that we call use cases. In that, who are the people who are currently using similar kind of thing? How are they benefiting out of this? So this will give you a storyline, which is very, very important when you're strategizing or when you're taking the your marketing campaign forward. The design at the at the concept level. Okay? So use cases. So this becomes very important for you to get stories that you can amplify and you can send it out in different mediums and different templates. Right? The next slide, please. So with all this information, now you have stories to tell. You've done your research in terms of all the factors that we spoke about, horizontal, vertical, all those angles have been sorted. Now you have so many channels. You have YouTube, you have Facebook, you have Insta, you have LinkedIn, you have Google as a search engine. You have a lot of blogs and forums and blogs. Where do you get your marketing campaign out so that you can maximize your ROI, which means you can maximize the number of leads, right? To make it to become an exceptional marketer. So what, based on the problem that is faced only, like I mentioned, a product or a service is available, right? So we'll move to the next slide. Can we move to the next slide, please? Yeah. So here comes the most interesting part where in recent days, the approach to narrowing your audience, the approach to marketing to the right set of people has changed quite a bit. Right? Earlier, there used to be people sitting in one place who were decision makers. Now the world has changed after the COVID scenario. It's become a hybrid work culture. So it's not easy to meet a particular person at the time because their work style has changed in many of the places. Right? Even people who are working in metros have moved to their hometowns, which is more convenient for them to stay with family, and at the same time they get an opportunity to equal opportunity to work. So a lot of things have changed. Now, any product in a solution or service, actually, if you look at it, there is a problem statement, yes, because of which it is there. It solves a business problem or it betters a business efficiency, it lowers the business cost. Some kind of an advantage should be there because of which the product or service or solution is there. Now, one thing that we need to understand or be very clear the way we think is the decisions are made by people only, right? So we need to understand as simple as that, who are the people who are there. So the marketing has changed is slowly shifting towards a persona-based marketing. So persona-based marketing is basically, the target audience. So what is the target audience ecosystem, right? What are their behavioral terms? For example, we are into the business of information technology. Yeah? In us, we have different sets of products. To give you an example of what I'm telling, there are laptops and desktops which are used by the individual employees of a company, but they all connect to a data center or a server, typically to say, which is decided or implemented by a different set of people who have no connection to the users in terms of decision making. Okay, then there is something called security products, which keeps network safe, which keeps from hacking, which keeps the system or the network or the ecosystem safe. There is something called storage. So everybody, the decision makers here are different sets of people, right? So if I have to market my subset of products, I would have to change my marketing in a design which appeals to the right set of people, Okay. So there might be if you look at personas, the user is a persona. Then there will be a finance person in the organization. In any organization, there will be a finance person who will be involved in making the decision. He would say, why should I spend so much money? Why should I buy this product? Why should I have this service? Why should I have the solution? What is it benefiting to me? Right? Is it that it is going to lower my cost of operations? Is it that it is going to increase my people's efficiency? All that factors a finance person will ask. Now, if it is a line of business person, which means if me and my marketing team, for example, there are a set of marketing people who work on different areas. Now, a design person, he might need a robust system to work with. His system might be slow. So when he comes and proposes to me, or I go to the finance person and I propose to him saying that I want budget to buy X product. Now, question should be what is my gain out of making that investment, right? So when these questions come, my marketing should already have answers for it. So when I'm talking a solution, that means I'm not only selling it to the person who's using it, I'm also selling. I need to convince the person who's going to be spending the money on it, right? So for each person, the language is different. A finance person will understand the language of ROI in terms of efficiency or cost. The line of business manager, who would probably a marketing head, would look at it as, okay, my work will start, I'll start getting more work in a faster period of time, right? So I'm looking at efficiency. Okay. The same way, there will be a support person who will say, one more device for me to support on, right? So now for him, I have to give something in the marketing campaign that says, okay, my work is going to become easy. It's not a headache for me, it's going to be easy. So there are different stakeholders for a same set of product or a solution or a service who are either influencers or decision makers or proposers of a particular product. So persona based approach is very good area to develop that you need to do a lot of research on, which will help you make a successful marketing campaign in terms of identifying which platform, because each of these people will be in different platforms. A finance person need not be there on Instagram or a Facebook as a group, right? A finance person can be, you can find a finance person in certain finance blogs. You can find a finance person on a, economic times kind of a, right? Or you can find a finance person on some kind of a, share market or a finance info TV channel. So how do you choose? Because you find maximum of them there. So this kind of a strategy, persona-based research, will help you identify the right messaging in the right space where you get this particular subset of crowd or the cream of the crowd, which makes decision or which has anything. So that is one important understanding that you need to have before you decide which is the best channel to market a set of a products or a solution or a service, right? Now, again, there will be a lot of influencers uh, around making a decision. Like your friends would be influencers for you to buy whatever at your age group, whatever you try to spend on. So maybe you want to go for a movie. Your friends will influence saying, "Let's not. If this movie is awesome. This movie has so much of X factor, Y factor. Let's go for it. Not the other movie." So you have an influencer who's always there, who look up on. He might be a movie buff. So you ask him, "Is it good enough to go for this movie?" Likewise, for any product or service, in each of our contact, there will be somebody who's good at it. So we will ask them, or they will have a keen interest on the product or service, or they will be from their domain, because of which we ask them questions. So identifying influencers, right, who impact or who initiate a particular decision making feature. So this also, once you identify this, you have another set of people whom your marketing campaign should touch or register with, right? So that if somebody cross checks, they would already say. So for a same product, solution, service, you're talking to different sets of people who are either influencers, who are decision makers, who are users, who are funding it. Because if all of them come together, your conversion becomes optimized, right? Your ROI peaks, right? So that is how it has to be understood. Just to give you a why so much on persona, I'm telling you, and why I'm pointing out that you should do a lot of learning in this area, research in this area, primarily because any persona based. This is the research data that I've put up there. So persona based marketing strategies see higher 10% higher conversion. So 10% higher conversion is a huge number, huge percentage, right? And 18% more revenue, which means your ROI, what I'm talking about, 5%, it sees 18%, which means you're already, by mastering persona based marketing, you're already 13% high from anybody who doesn't do that. This goes on a standard template mode, right? So this is why you need to go through it. If you look at analytics data, web analytics data, they're saying personalized content, which is persona-based content, produces 14% click-through, right? Click-through rates and 210% increased website traffic. So these are all, if you look at general baseline data, these are all big numbers that can impact, your marketing effort coming back to you as a return, right? So that is why this persona-based approach is very important. So point here is human angle. We can move to the next slide. Point here is it's a human angle. So you need to always know. We can move to the next one. We can always know that whatever said and done, decisions are made by people. And if we are able to put together the right set of people as a target audience, which includes a good ratio of influencers, which includes a good ratio of ratio of users, the people who fund it, right? All of this in a combination, when you bring it together, your campaign, marketing campaign success is at the peak, right? So based on the exploration when you do, you will come to identify and understand that 20%, you can always filter out from a large chunk. You have a target audience of 100. Of that 100, there is an 80-20 principle which you need to always keep in mind. There will be 20% of the people who will give 80% of the business. So as a marketer, if you're able to identify the group of 20% by personas, and if you target a marketing campaign based on that profiling, right, your ROI would be out of the world. But again, if you continue to stay as an explorer, continue to dig deep in terms of getting into a campaign strategy, before getting into the campaign strategy, the previous slides that you saw or previous information that I've given you, if you're able to work on it thoroughly, then your campaign success is kind of assured, right? Then you need to understand what time, what channel, how do you place an ad? Is it an image-based ad, or is it just a text-based ad that you can run, or a campaign you can run, or an audio-video campaign that you could run, or can you create a marketing campaign which will bring you a response in terms of creating a debate for your marketing plan, creating a poll. All these things have to be factored because your response is what is considered your ROI, right? That's where you're starting conversation with the client. Otherwise, it's one way till then, right? And once the content and your platforms, with all this information, you plan your platforms, you plan your demographics in terms of personas, you target your verticals and horizontals. Based on that, now finally you come to a budgeting area. How much you spend in what space based on your user subset, target users and things like that, right? Now after this, then you roll out a campaign, measure it consistently and continuously, so that you might have to change campaigns. Once you set and run, you don't think it's successful. Day one, what is the response? What kind of people are looking at it? If you have to tweak some of the settings for the campaign on a daily basis or alternate day basis by the daily learning, all this comes into play. So analytics is very, very important when you run a campaign, and analytics has to be measured on a scheduled routine basis, right? We can move to the next one. We can move to the next slide. So I think we kind of touch base on most of the things here. So the only thing that I would like to rather close my conversation would be if you can take away three important qualities that I would recommend you carry for your lifetime is keep exploring. That is one, which is very important, right? Then, keep challenging your ideas. Every time you come with a plan, you come with a thought process. Don't just go with the plan saying that okay, this is what I'm set, and keep no. You get an idea, challenge the idea as to how it can fail, right? Shoot it down. You shoot it down yourself before you get shot down by somebody who knows a little more than you. Where you will always find somebody who knows a little more than you. Be ready for it. The last and most important quality I would say is be a lifelong learner, which means the digital spaces keep changing, almost like on a daily basis. The way Google crawls a website changes, without letting the users know. The way Facebook has changed its search algorithm, or LinkedIn has searched its algorithm, search algorithm, everything keeps changing. So you need to know what platforms work for what, and continuously keep learning. Right? With that, I'll leave you open for any questions that you would have.
So there's a question from audience side.
Yeah.
What are the different types of SEOs?
In terms of search engine optimization, when you say it varies from time to time, right? So there are people who would come and tell you, I can bring your page ranking in 1 week's time to from you're on the page 10 and you can bring it to page 1. So there is no different subsets of SEOs that you can classify per se. Your method has to be always organic or else it has to be ad driven, right? So that's again based on what I'm telling you, what I mentioned earlier. Your crawling method changes time to time. So there is no fixed formula, or else all of us would be, whoever is spending more money would be on page 1. Right? It's not about spending money. It's about understanding what you're selling and be present in the right spaces with the right kind of communication, which can invoke a response. So the engagement is what matters over there. So when your engagement is right to the right set of people, you get the true, you get the real result that impacts the business. Now you may see, for example, if I tell you, if you manage any Google My Business pages, you get a lot of analytics data over there, right? When you do, and when you go and see your search keyword results, that will tell you how good you have been in your SEO. Your index to your SEO could be there. Now, if it is a company, you will find your company name on the top in terms of number. If the employees are high, it is primarily because a lot of people searched you for Swiggy delivery and Zomato delivery on for the employees' food and things like that. That would come up on analytics as a top one. Does it mean it is an impact of your marketing drive? It is not, right? So in terms of search engine optimization, it depends from engine to engine. In Google, like I said, recently Google is working on a new search structure. Crawl engine is going to be operating in a very different way. You'll see it out pretty soon. Already it's on a testing phase in some of the beta version in some of the spaces, right?
Sir, another question is how can you use social media for marketing?
Yeah, so that's exactly what I did through my session. So social media is a very important platform where set of platforms where you have different kinds of people of different demographics. So your win there is how do you identify demographics? How do you identify personas, right? So now I want to sell server, for example, okay, talking on a computer from a computer solution provider point of view. Now if I go and do a campaign on a Instagram for a server, and I depend on it as a sole source for me to sell servers, how much do you think I'll find? How much of ROI do you think, or how much of interest do you think I will generate? It's as good as minimal. It's as good as below par response. The same thing if I'm able to do it on LinkedIn and I do it to data center administrators as a filter inside LinkedIn, saying my campaigns I target my campaign to positions, companies that have more than say 50 employees, for example. That is one of the filter that I use, demographics sake. I tell, okay, I'm there in Tamil Nadu, so I select only Tamil Nadu, people from Tamil Nadu. So that is the next level filter I do. Then I tell them, I'm going to be talking to only data center administrators and IT managers. Then I find success there, my ROI is going to be high. So social media for digital marketing, that is the only option that you have for digital marketing, right? For marketing, that is one of the largest avenues that is there as on date, right? Now, how do you use social media? How do you decide which social media you're going to be using? And in that social media, how are you going to classify in terms of what is the right set of demographics, in terms of people, in terms of gender, in terms of geography, in terms of economical background, and in terms of their interests. So you can use any platform. If it is a B2C platform, platforms like Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. If it is a B2B platform, it is LinkedIn, which is most predominant because you get a lot of options to filter out there and target market to maximize your ROI, and also YouTube. A lot of people learn from YouTube in terms of technical resources. YouTube, you think, we have an impression that it is just a music and entertainment platform. No. You go to any organization, how to set up a particular thing on a B2B platform, how does a product actually look? There are different sets of videos that are made in different angles. So that is also a platform. So it is about, smartly use after being an explorer, after doing enough amount of research, narrowing down your audience base and bringing that clarity to yourself as to what you want in return. Did I give you an idea about it?
Yes, sir. There's a last question.
Sure.
How can we track the reach received through digital marketing?
So there are multiple platforms who offer this as a consolidated analytics. Okay. Like for example, if you look at a CRM platform like Sugar CRM or a Zoho, Salesforce, all these CRMs which are predominantly the market leaders, or even smaller CRMs like campaign managers. There are a lot of campaign tools. All of them help you link your digital media platform accounts to a single space where they can give you analytics. That is one space where everything can be consolidated, which is easy. But at the same time, corporates wouldn't allow you to do that because of the breach of data. Primarily because a third-party monitoring tool means you're exposing your campaign results to a third party who might use that content for their research and their optimization also. Right? So every platform has analytics too. They give you the right set of analytics in terms of reach, in terms of open rate, in terms of multiple angles, how many times somebody has opened, looked at your campaign, how many people it has reached, how many people have opened a particular set of video or any campaign that you've run. So all this keeps happening by Xylo platforms themselves. So you have both the options in terms of analytics. But the best analytics for a marketer, I would still say, is when I see a quality lead that comes out of a campaign. When I say a set of leads that come, and my measure is 5 5 times more than what I spend now. If that is there, I am on the baseline success of the campaign. Then, like I explained in the earlier sheets, if I'm going deep, then I become an exceptional marketer. Was it good?
Yes, sir.
Hope I could give some insights out of my experience. Hope you could note down a few cues, to look forward to learn up. And this is a very interesting area because nothing is stagnant. It changes every day. Your thought process has to be changing every day. You need to be an explorer. You need to be a learner. It's very interesting if you play it like a game. You play to win in marketing. If you play like a gamer, you have two sets of people. One person who's willing to offer something. There is, and you need to. It's a treasure hunt of people who are wanting that thing. So if you play it like a treasure hunt, if you look at it in that angle, you will have fun doing marketing. And when you do it with fun, it becomes your passion, and it definitely brings you joy and returns from that area. So wish you people all the best when you take up, get into the real world and play this game of marketing as a fun activity and enjoy doing it. And thank you for the teachers who have been continuously inspiring students and spending their time on a continuous basis to develop the new gen coming into the real world. Really appreciate your time and effort.
Shashika, can you continue with the next? Thank you, sir. Thank you for an informative session. Today marks the end of Hallway BIZ'23 with 5 excellent speakers and insightful discussions. It was a fantastic series. I take immense pleasure in thanking our management, our secretary, Sri Ashok Kumar Mundra sir, our convener and principal, Captain Dr. S. Santosh Babu sir, our head in charge, Sarunata ma'am, our faculty coordinators, Deepika ma'am and Renu Kumari ma'am. I would like to extend my gratitude to all our participants across the nation for their enthusiastic participation. My appreciation to the student coordinators. My special gratitude to Vijay Kumar sir for his technical support. To sum up, the guest for day 1 was Mr. Uday Shankar sir. The guest for day 2 was Mr. Natraj sir. The speaker for day 3 was Mr. Surendra Bora sir. The speaker for day 4 was Mr. Sushil Kumar sir. And for a valedictory, our guest was Mr. Vinod Kumar sir. Thank you so much, sir. It was an amazing session. Overall, we had 1,000 participants across the nation. It was an overall success. Thank you. Shravan, the guest has left. Can you ask him to join us back?
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah, ma'am. One second. Oh, ma'am, just a minute, ma'am. He'll be with us. Ma'am.
is possible, and we are able to make it happen only with the support of people like you coming to spend extra time and pitching in for our students. We are very grateful for you, and thank you for sharing your insights with our students and the community. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. And on behalf
Thank
of
you,
this
sir.
Hallway Biz, I also congratulate the entire Hallway Biz team who has put in a lot of efforts to conduct it very successfully. The student volunteers and all the faculties who were involved in this. Congratulations to the entire team who made it really successful. It was almost like more than 750 participants across Pan India. We also had international participants, and nice to see people like no active participants inside this forum.
Deepika, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for that. Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining us amidst your busy schedule and spending your time with our students. I hope everybody would have benefited out of it. Not only our students, the faculty members, whoever have joined, maybe even the industrialists, we could see lots of entrepreneurs to join these sessions, and even we were surprised to see people in these kind of events. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, participants, for being on this program for at least 5 days. It had really been wonderful to have you all on this program. And thank you, sir, for being an excellent speaker. It was your insights would definitely help all of us. The participants, we would just give you the forward the certificates on your concerned mail ID within 20 days from today. Thank you, everyone.
Hadi.